Scotty Elcon with Sillig Film News here at the Dallas International Film Festival, here with the filmmaker behind A Bad Idea Gone Wrong.
Hi, I'm Jason Headley, writer-director of A Bad Idea Gone Wrong, which is playing here at Dallas Film Festival today and tomorrow.
So, we were talking a little bit earlier about the cool home you found. Where did this idea first come about? Was it always an idea of someone being locked in, or where did this kind of start in?
Yeah, for me it was always about, I had written a lot of scripts and was just kind of growing tired of not making them. And so I wanted to write something that could be made and to just engineer something that had as few moving parts as possible from a production standpoint, but still use the craft of storytelling that I've been working on to tell something with a good beginning, middle, and end, and with real characters and fun conflict and all that type of thing. So I just started tinkering around with ideas and then came up with this concept of people getting locked in a house and then having to break out of the house they just broke into.
Let's talk about this crew, this burglary crew, with the casting and what made you kind of go with Matt, Will, Eleanor, and all these three wonderful people.
Yeah, it was a funny way to put together the project. We'd kind of decided on when we were going to shoot and then started building around that. So there was always this window between Thanksgiving and Christmas that we thought that would be a good time for everybody, myself and the producers, and so we targeted that, and then we started trying to find a cast who was available during that time. And actually Matt was the last one on board, and he came on 4 days before we started shooting.
Wow.
So it was a real run and gun.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I know you've worked with your editor, Tim,
Yep.
for your films.
Yes.
But was this your first time working with Nathan, your
It was, yeah.
cinematographer?
Yep.
What was that process like? Because I know the editing, you're involved in, but working with the cinematographer and trying to capture, what you're seeing in your mind compared to what he was trying to showcase.
Yeah. I'm based out of San Francisco, but we were a Texas production. We shot in Fort Worth, and so for the Texas tax credit situation, we needed as many Texans as possible on set. So Nathan was based out of Austin, and I was looking at reels for different DPs, and Nathan's just caught my eye, and then we got on the phone and talked, and that was kind of it. He came down for like a super quick location scout with me after I'd chosen the locations, just to look and take some pictures and all that, and then the next time we talked was like 2 days before we started shooting, and we were kind of, because of the way it all came together, we were sort of doing pre-production and production at the same time the first week. So Nathan and I had a lot of time to really get up to speed with each other there, or not a lot of time, but it was just a high pressure situation. But luckily, I'm like a diamond formed under pressure. So.
Well, looking at the production side of it and working with, because if I'm not mistaken, you said Red found the house, or its connections from Red Sanders.
Yeah, we looked at maybe half a dozen houses, and they all kind of came through Red and connections around Red somehow. So, yeah.
What was it like once you found the house? How much of your idea of the script changed with the house, or was it pretty you kind of figured it out once you realized? Because the house is really nice. It's a really cool house.
Yeah. It was mostly, the biggest thing is when I was writing it, it was just a house, right? Just general house. And so what changed was it became this specific house. And so we did have to do a layout of the house and name the rooms, and then go and rename rooms in the script to sync them up so that the production could go, okay, this room now, because it's a big house, so you're like, what's the living room, right? So we had to call one the living room, and then this one's the den or something like that. So so I just had to do that, rejigger a little bit. And there was one tiny joke that didn't work because of the house. It had to do with them moving a refrigerator, and we ended up replacing that joke with something else in the attic, and then we ended up cutting that joke entirely. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of Texas, I mean, you got, I think Austinites are going to love this movie because of the extra cast like Sam, Johnny Mars.
Yeah.
How much fun was it to kind of dive into this Texas world and make a film right here in Texas and have a crew that, obviously Texas is in the borderline. We've got Louisiana that eats up a lot of films. New Mexico's becoming huge.
Yeah.
Arizona's always been kind of a hotbed, but Texas is still trying to make its way. What was it like coming in and experiencing a Texas film?
Yeah, I mean, it was great from my perspective. I mean, there's a couple things. One, it was, because our production, you know, we shot 17 days, 15 in that house. So we didn't really get to know the area too much. And on top of that, we shot almost exclusively splits. So we would start, midday and go to mid-evening. So I didn't really get to get out and see the community much either, because by the time we were done, everything was closed. And by the time I woke up the next day, it was time to go shoot. So, but the Texas angle for me, like Nathan and Brittany the production designer, came up out of Austin, and everybody else was local here, Fort Worth, and a lot of folks out of Denton. A lot of students worked on our film.
UNT kids, yeah.
Yep, yeah, we were definitely like seasoned up a crew from the beginning to the end, a little bit.
As far as like because I was impressed with the film. It was really funny, really witty.
Thank you.
Being able to write that type of material with these types of characters, how much fun was it riffing off each character, and then each character has their own unique style. They're not really like too similar, and it works so well, especially Matt and Will off each other, because I think a lot of people could create very similar characters, but they have such difference with themselves. It works nice.
Yeah, it was fun to begin to think about these two guys, and like old friendships, is a thing that is something that I have over time. The more I write, the more I sort of realize I keep bumping into the same themes, and old friendships is one that I just really like. I have a bunch of old friends, and you just sort of become the Bickersons a little bit. You know each other so well that you can sort of you know how to push each other's buttons, and you also know how to support one another. So I wanted to write that kind of comedy duo a little bit, and yeah, as far as like making their voices different, I mean, that's just one of the key things to being a writer, and then you get to hand it off to the actors, and then they immediately begin to do different things, because they're just different instruments. So like you kind of write the notes, but if you get a saxophone and a piano, they're going to play those notes differently. So and then Darcy was just a character I wanted to write, just a strong female character who was just kind of always a step ahead, and always like willing to play the victim, but only as a play, and kind of the brains of the organization. So yeah,
definitely strong would be a good word choice.
Yeah. And then finding Eleanor was just was fantastic.
So let's talk about, since Nathan, the Austin side of things. You guys had a lot of fun in South by, and you guys had well, tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, we premiered at South by a couple weeks ago, and we had 3 packed houses for our 3 screenings, and then we went to the awards show, and we were just minding our own business, and they gave us a special jury recognition for best ensemble. So that was such a great surprise. I just sort of remember stumbling up there with Eleanor. Matt had just left that day, which is a bummer, and but yeah, we just stumbled up there and won our big belt buckle.
What's it like being able to show this film, first in South by, obviously that huge element, but then, like you said, there's so many folks that are going to be able to see it here in Dallas that are from Denton, from Fort Worth. This is definitely a homecoming very much for the film. For sure,
yeah, it's been great. I realized, when I landed there, this is the first time I've been back here since we shot. So yeah, it's great to come back and to be able to, have actually a lot of crew made it down to Austin for South by, but I know that some people didn't, so it'd be great to have folks come out and be able to see it and hopefully enjoy it.
So how much has this experience changed your writing, and what are you kind of working on now as a writer?
Yeah, I have, I mean, how did it change my writing? Well, the thing that I did when I wrote this script was when I was working more into outlining a lot more, and that's a thing that I'm more comfortable with now, and more reliant on. I think it's helpful to kind of know. I talk about how, if you decide, well, I need to swim from here to Spain, that's far. I don't know if I'm going to make it to Spain. Versus if you put a series of buoys, then you can just say, I have to swim to that next buoy. So it just makes it a lot easier to feel like you can do it. Now, putting all the buoys out is also a lot of work, but So that's how it's affected my writing. And then as far as like what I'm doing next, I have this dramatic comedy script that's ready to go, and I'm just kind of trying to get people on board and build a team and get out there and make it.
Very cool. Well, just kind of lastly, where can people find out more info about A Bad Idea Gone Wrong, and where do you guys go from here?
So we have a Facebook page, so you can search for A Bad Idea Gone Wrong on Facebook, or I think it's just Facebook/A Bad Idea Gone Wrong. And then also I have all the social medias that are available. Not all of them. I have 3 of them. But so if you go to jasonheadley.com, you can find all those sorts of things. And then as far as where we go now, we're talking to some distributors, trying to figure out how to get it out there into the world where people can see it. And then we're lining up a couple other festivals here and there, and just going to go and try and build a little audience for this thing.
Well, hopefully we'll see you in Spain soon.
Yes.
And Jason, thanks so much, and thanks for bringing the film here. I know the Diff crew was really happy to bring this film here, especially with Red and Kelly's connections here. It's definitely going to be a nice homecoming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks,
All right,
Jason.
thanks.